We're here with Louis Giavasis, Plain Township trustee, who really, in Stark County, has taken the lead on stopping fracking until more is known about it. And one of the questions that came up from Councilman Davis, I believe it was tonight, was what are we to do? In fact, there may have been several council people that were looking to you for guidance and direction. And so are you going to cobble together something for other government people across Stark County to join with so that you can be effective with the folks that are making these decisions on fracking?
Well, I think what we need to do is talking with North Can tonight, is hopefully talking in the future with entities like Jackson, City of Canton. The only way that we're going to be able to do something to protect our communities from the negative effects that are possible from this process is to do it together. That's why I said tonight we're all in this together. We need to challenge Columbus. And Plain Township doing this on its own is a little dot on the map in Columbus's radar. But if you have a majority of the population of Stark County standing up and say, you know what, we understand what you passed, but you're not doing it here. I think collectively that's not only going to make the gas and oil industry take notice, it's going to make Columbus take notice. We need to step back. There's no reason to rush to do this. If all the states in the Eastern Seaboard are looking at moratoriums to wait for the outcome of the study in 2012, we should be doing the same thing before we have the same effects here in Ohio that's taking place in Pennsylvania and some of these other states. You know, we're talking about an $8 billion budget deficit gap that governor's hopefully this is going to help plug. 10 or 15 years from now, we could be looking at $25 to $30 billion to fix the after effects of this. So if we're going to do it, we need to wait and do it right and make sure that the final studies come back that says, number one, what the effects are on human health, what the effects are on our water supply, and if there are the negative consequences that come back out of that study, is to work with the gas and oil industry collectively to find a way that we can do the gas oil exploration in the same manner it's been done in the past, that's not having the negative consequences in the communities it's being done in. So I think I plan on working with North Canton City Council going into the future, possibly drafting joint legislation with them, hopefully meeting with some other communities in Stark County to pull us together to make a stand against Senate Bill 165 and tell Columbus, you're either going to protect our residents or we're going to stand up against the state of Ohio and protect ourselves.
So you are in the process of gathering government people across Stark County to come together to affect what the legislature does.
Yes, I'm in the process right now of making initial contacts, like I did with Mr. Davies, with North Canton Council. I plan to talk a little bit more, hopefully here in the near future, with Jackson Township and with Perry Township and some of the other smaller subdivisions around this part of Stark County, along with the City of Canton, to see what we can do collectively to try to combat this. Like I said in my presentation, some states right now, even though they're preempted, they passed those bans, but the communities that didn't pass bans, they're looking right now at outlawing the frack fluid from even being transported within their community. They're saying, okay, you could drill for gas in our community, but you're not bringing those chemicals in here.
Right.
So,
well, I know the last time we talked over in your neck of the woods in Plain Township at the fracking meeting that was hosted by Ron Ponder, you were real interested in raising the amount of money these companies were putting up to cover any kind of losses from damages from fracking. And so tonight you're saying that you only got it raised from $3 million to $5 million?
State Representative Kurt Schuring was going to try to draft language to introduce to the legislature to increase the mandatory insurance and bonding that's necessary by the gas and oil companies. That hasn't occurred. I had an email from Steve Selesnik's legislative aide the other day that he planned to introduce an amendment bill to raise the insurance from $3 million to $5 million. I sent an email back explaining pretty much, thanking him for his efforts, But $5 million is nowhere near commensurate with the amount of damage these oil and gas companies can create inside these communities if we have an accident. You know, the areas, Martin, they're looking at up on Warner Church and Middle Branch, 55th and Harmont, Apple Grove over here. Some of those areas are the farthest distance away from a public water line. I can't extend a water line for $5 million, and to get that $5 million, I'm going to spend 3-4 years in court trying to get it. I need something in place by the state legislature that's going to tell the gas and oil industry, you're creating a risk. If something happens, you're going to pay to extend the water source to these people. There's not going to be no more of these clauses that says they can't disclose that their water got contaminated, and if they do, they're not going to supply them with water. If their water gets tainted, and it's, you know, it's okay now, and it ends up getting tainted later, there's no more of this natural occurring nonsense that they feed the public saying we didn't do it, or these proprietary secrets saying that's not our chemical. Martin, we're talking about stuff that's been in the ground, natural gas and this radon for 65 million years. All of a sudden it's being released, but only in areas where they're doing this type of drilling. That's not a coincidence. After 65 million years, it's starting to show up, but only in places where they're drilling.
Okay, just to backtrack a little bit then, the Schleswig effort and the Schering effort are different efforts.
I think they're totally independent of each other.
Okay.
I have yet to hear back from Mr. Schering since 2 weeks after that last Plain Township meeting. And that was through Ron Ponder contacted me, telling me that Kurt was working on something. And I got an email a week ago from Representative Schleswig's legislative aide saying he planned on introducing language to increase that insurance bonding from 3 to 5.
How about Senator Olslager? Is he doing anything?
Senator Olslager, I had an email correspondence from a resident in Hartville. There was a pretty generic response thanking her for her concerns and that he would keep them in mind. So I don't expect anything for Representative Olslager on this issue.
Take on presentation by Trustee Louis Giavasis out of Plain Township on fracking tonight.
I'll tell you the truth. I think, first of all, Louis is very passionate about, and he's very, very much in tune with what's going on. I'm a novice at this. I don't understand a lot of it. But after hearing his presentation, it scares the hell out of me what possibly could happen, especially, you know, not only the North Canton water supply, but to the water supply of Stark County in general. If we don't take some type of proactive means and some protections to guard our underground water throughout the whole county, we could have a problem.
Well, do you look for North Canton Council to take some sort of action?
I would say that it'll probably reach the agenda. Beyond that, I don't know yet, but we will get it on the agenda to talk about joining, because again, we're behind, obviously. We're way behind the curve line on this, but we want to get caught up to speed. I've been given a couple of videos to look at, and I'm amazed at the amount of people, especially in the, I would use the term loosely, in the private sector, that are not involved in government, that are very, very much aware of this. Again, I think it's brought out of some very intelligent minds, and people have read and they've made themselves aware of what the potential problems are with horizontal fracking when it's not under control, and that's what they're worried about. And I share their worry.
What do you think about Trustee Giavasis' point about that if this is such a safe process, why aren't they willing to put up more money in terms of a guarantee, a source for municipalities and townships and villages?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I think in talking, most of these companies are operated under limited liability corporations, so their funds are thin at best. So consequently, a $3 million bond or a $3 million insurance policy, one would think if it was very safe, the old adage, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
I mean, that's the.
And you buy into that.
I buy into that project. You know, if someone comes to my house, we require almost that much when someone does work in the city. We require, even if you're a landscaper, to post a $250,000 bond that you're going to finish the job that you said you were going to do. I mean,
right.
So I mean.